Okay, so revisiting compound interest from what we were doing before. Compound interest has the formula A equals P times 1 plus I to the exponent n. Now, A is going to be our final amount. P is going to be our principal, which is our starting amount. Now, I is going to be our rate, so our annual rate, divided by the compounding period. And n is going to be the number of years times the compounding period. N is the number of compounds we have. So it's how many compounds we actually have when we're finding our numbers. Okay, so there's our formula. When we're looking at compound periods, we've got annually would be 1, semi-annual would be 2, quarterly would be 4, bi-weekly, which is every other week, would be 26, weekly is 52, monthly is 12, and daily is 365. Now our interest rate in all these cases would be our rate divided by 1, our rate over 2. And this rate that we're writing down is always our rate as a decimal, and it's our yearly rate. Okay, so it's the yearly rate that we have as a decimal divided by our compounding period, which our compounding period is always the number of compounds we have. The total number of compounds n would be the number of years times that number. So I'm not going to write them all down. It would be years. We'll do this. Years times 1, years times 2, years times 4. Now, the catch would be is if we did something like 2 months. Well, then we're not going to write in 2 for years. What we're going to write is 2 divided by 12, because 2 months was had happened, but there's 12 months in a year, and that's our years divided by, multiplied by our compounding period. Okay, so if we looked at something like this, so calculate I as it would appear in that formula. So if we had 6% semi-annually, well, 6% as a decimal is 0.06. We divide by 100. And if we're doing semi-annually, that means we have I is going to be equal to 0.06 divided by 2. Semi-annually would be 2. So 0.06 divided by 2 is going to give us 0.03. So that would be our I value. If we looked at the next one, 5% equal to 0.05. Weekly would be 0.05 divided by, there's 52 weeks in a year. So 0.05 divided by 52 is going to give us, now it's a big long decimal, and it's important, we'll actually carry 3 digits here, 961. Because we're going so small, you want to carry at least 3 or it's not going to be an accurate answer. Now the next one, we've got 1.75. That's going to be 0.0175. Quarterly is dividing that by 4. So we're dividing by 4. And that 0.175 divided by 4, we can actually keep all of our digits here, would be 0.004375. All right. Now, if we were moving on, so if calculate n as it would appear in the formula. So n, remember, is our compounds times the years. So here, n would be 5 years times quarterly would be 4. So n is equal to 20. Here we've got 2 years, and then we're bi-weekly, which is 26, and that's going to give us 52. Down here, we've got semi-annually for 18 months. Well, 18 months, we could do 18 over 12. Semi-annually is 2. That's going to be 1.5 times 2. So n is going to be equal to 3 in that last one. Okay, I did 18 over 12 because that's how many years have passed. 18 months, but there's 12 months in a year, so I do 18 divided by 12. So calculate the future value or amount of an investment of $500 that's been invested at 3% compounded quarterly for 4 years. So what I like to do is we're going to put A is what we're looking for. P is $500. Now we're just going through this formula. So we've got I is our rate, which is 0.03 because we want it as a decimal, divided by 4. So 0.03 divided by 4 is going to give us 0.075, or sorry, 2 zeros. I'll erase that. Let's write it a little neater. And then our n value is going to be 4 times 4, because we're doing it quarterly for 4 years. So that's 16. So then we're going to have A equals, I'll write out the formula, and then we'll sub in 500, 1 plus 0.0075, I almost wrote a 7 again, to the 16, is 500 times 1.0075 to the 16. Now we need to make sure we do BEDMAS here, so we've got 1.0075 to the exponent 16 first, which is going to be 1.126992 and a bunch of decimals. Then we times it by 500. So we're going to get $563.50. It's 49.6, so that's going to go up to 50. It says how much interest is earned. Well, the interest is just going to be our total amount minus our principal. So we've got our 563.5 minus 500. So we made $63.50. Okay? I'm going to throw a dollar sign on there. Let's try this last one. So Jenny deposited $2,500 into an investment, earnings at 4.5% compounded monthly. So calculate our value. So we've got A is our question mark, P is $2,500, I is going to be 0.045 divided by, we're compounded monthly here, so we're dividing by 12. So 0.045 divided by 12 is going to give us 0.00375. And then our n value is going to be 5, our years, times 12. So 5 times 12 is going to give us 60. And now we can plug into our formula. So A equals 2,500, 1 plus 0.00375 to the 60. We need to make sure we're doing BEDMAS here, so we're going to do our brackets first. And then we would do the exponent next, and then multiply by the 2,500. So 1.00375 to the exponent 60 is going to give us 1.25 roughly times 2,500. It's going to give us $3129.49.